The year is 1944, and World War II is nearing its end. Away from the war, however, is a lone prospector who just hit a literal gold mine. When the prospector is beginning his trip back to civilization, he comes across a caravan full of Nazis. The Nazis stop the prospector and attempt to steal his gold, but these Nazis are about to learn the definition of fuck around and find out. This is Sisu. Sisu is a new World War II action film. But if you search this film up on Google, however, you're probably only going to get images of the dragon from Raya and the Last Dragon. What an unfortunate way to be buried. They absolutely knew the audience to this movie because I hadn't heard of it until the trailer played before John Wick Chapter 4. And I knew immediately that it was a film that I was going to really enjoy, and yeah, checks out. Sisu is an extremely entertaining wartime action film that I loved from almost beginning to end. It's simple and knows what it wants to be, and it does so extremely well. Playing the film's badass Nazi-killing prospector is Jorma Tommila, and this is an absolutely phenomenal performance. His character is one of my favorite character types. He's a man who is too angry to die, but is also not much for words. Tommila just delivers such a big impact on this movie with such little effort. The presence he has in this movie is so good, and you will be hooked every time he's on screen. I've seen a lot of people say this film's a mix of John Wick and Mad Max, and to be honest, I didn't really feel that. I was thinking more on the lines of John Wick meets Inglourious Basterds, but even then, the John Wick comparison is still a bit weak in my opinion. And that's not because the action is slacking, because it's definitely not. The film's action is a bit more on the realistic side, especially compared to something like John Wick. But I think that helps the film immensely, because who would have thought that having realistic action in a real time period would work so well? That isn't to say the entire film is grounded in reality. I think there's something come the final act of the film that is a bit over the top, but it works. Because there are some scenes in this movie that kinda had me wincing because of how real they felt. There is one scene in the movie, a scene that takes place underwater, that I just can't argue against. What the prospector does under the water is extremely brutal, but also maybe a bit unrealistic. But hey, I've never seen it be done before, so maybe, just maybe, it can work like that. Have you ever wondered why World War II is such a popular time period for media to take place in? Like, World War II was an awful time period, one of the worst we have ever seen. But why is it such a popular thing in media? Movies, video games, books? Even in school, it was always the most interesting part of history class. And I think I know why. What do people love just as much as a good hero? A good villain. But not necessarily because you like them, but because you hate them so much. Thanos, Emperor Palpatine, Lord Voldemort, all awful people, but you love to hate them. And that's why I believe World War II is so popular and utilized so much, because the Nazis make for really good villains. Again, not good because you see their point of view, good because they're heinous people that you just want to see their ass get kicked. They are the perfect villain to hate. They have their own symbol of hate. It's crazy to think that the Nazis are the closest thing to a supervillain the world's ever had. The Nazis truly are the perfect villain to hate because there's no good way to write them. Unless maybe you're Taika Waititi, but hey, Taika Waititi's just kind of a mad lad who does what he wants, so I respect that. And this film handles that ideology so well. The film makes the Nazis out to be irredeemable scum, which is, well, exactly what they are. And the actors playing the Nazis are scary good. I have always wanted to talk about this because it's always increasingly interesting to me every time I see a World War II film. And this film handles it so well. They treat these Nazis like the scum they are, and they get what they deserve. And it's beyond satisfying. 9 out of 10 doctors agree watching Nazis die is a great cure for depression. And the 10th doctor, well, they're a Nazi. It's funny, I was watching this movie and it hit me right in the middle of it that this film reminds me a whole lot about a certain Bethesda shooter. That's right, I am obviously talking about Doom. This film more than proves a proper Doom movie with an entirely silent Doom guy could more than work. Just replace the Nazis with demons and then boom, you got a Doom movie. So please, Hollywood, consider this. Doom movie. Thank you. But I had an absolute blast with this movie. I love action movies, I love war films, and this film is the perfect combination of both. A fantastic lead character with a phenomenal leading performance going up against some of the most heinous and despicable people of all time. Seriously, what's not to love? This movie is gold. Now I know what you might be thinking. Quint, I saw the thumbnail. Why do you have a Nazi helmet? That is a good question, but let me explain. I'm here to contextualize for you. My uncle, Jerry Armstrong, is a war veteran, a history teacher, and all-around history guy. And he has this as a sort of relic. He's not too sure where it came from. All he knows is that it was found in an attic. Someone could have died in this, and we don't know, or it could have been just confiscated after the war. I like to imagine someone died in it, but that's just me. But admittedly, it's kind of a cool thing to have. And I'm really thankful he let me borrow it for this video and let me eat popcorn out of it. Thanks, Jerry. I tell you, it looks like Nazis had some really small heads. And even smaller dicks. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider hitting that like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when my next review drops. Oh, and by the way, check out the website. Until next time, I'm Quint Dunaway, hoping you will keep it cinematic.